So I said we were going to talk about the load management. Yes. Sydney obviously is going to come up as far as that's concerned. Miss McLaughlin.
Miss McLaughlin-Levrone.
Levrone. You know these Americans don't like when you mess the names up, eh?
We talking sprint culture, we talking track and field. When the gunshot lick it, give a man the chills. We talking speed demons like Usain. The red track where a legend really makes their name. The US and Jamaica, they run the sprinting game. There's nothing like the Olympics for your claim to fame. When you break the world record, you show you ain't the same. From the men to the women, times are insane. Yeah, we talking sprint culture. We talking sprint culture. We talking sprint culture. We talking sprint culture.
Yes. Big up. Welcome to another episode of Sprint Culture. We're gonna have a quick one, but we got some really cool stuff to talk about. Before we go any further, Heartbreak.run, every day, all day. Super shoes. If you need them, hurry up and go get them. Heartbreak.run. I got a couple of guests with me today that I'm really excited about. The first of which is a former British sprinter and an Olympian, world indoor silver medalist, and a BBC trackside reporter, studio host, track field analyst, BBC Sports personality extraordinaire. Please give him a big Sprint Culture welcome from Miss Jeanette Kwakye.
Thank you so much.
And
thank you.
Also joining us, former Jamaican sprinter, Olympic medalist, and Diamond League champion in 2013. Big up to one named Weir and the werewolf, Weir. There's been a lot of requests to have you back, man. People love you.
Yeah, we're back on the sprint culture, though.
Namas. I think the biggest thing for me so far this year is just kind of like, where is everybody? And then everybody's been saying, it's an Olympic year, so I have to save my legs and I have to just wait for the right time. And I think it's kind of time to kind of show and prove. As far as load management, they talk about this in the NBA a lot, load management. Picking your spots so you can save your legs to be able to perform. How much should athletes be taking load management into account as opposed to their obligation to the sport and to the fans as far as being able to present the sport? Ladies first, Jeanette.
It's a really difficult one because Olympic year, everybody knows they've just got to be on it, right? Your contract relies on so much, selection relies on so much. Olympic year, the stakes are always higher. So I actually respect the athletes that turn around and are looking at the bigger picture. And I don't know how I feel about obligation to the sport. What is that? What are we obliged to do as athletes? What, turn up and race at a Diamond League because the fans want us to be there? That's nice. It's a nice to have. But the reality is every individual is so different, right? And you get ready differently, you peak differently. I don't know. I feel like June is still quite early. And I'm saying that as a European athlete. And you remember we've been rolling out from May.
And I love your indoor season too, so
I'm
really surprised to hear you say that.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like June, now I'm looking back at it, I'm like, June's mad early. It's tough to be in a position whereby you're rolling out now and then again in 8 weeks, you're going to be at your best. That's difficult. And we know that's difficult. So now's a tricky time to manage. I respect it. I respect the athletes that take their time and know when and how to race.
What do you think, Warren?
A lot of internet coaches, a lot of naysayers, all I got was jerseys and spikes from my sponsors are the main ones talking about athletes. I myself think athletes should put everything first. Themselves first, in front of the fans, the sponsors, everything. It's an Olympic year. This year will make your career for the rest of your life. Even if you came to the Olympics and got a bronze only and never run again, that's something that can't take away from you. In the sport, there's world champs, there's Olympics, there's Diamond League. They will say, he's a 2013 Diamond League winner, he's a 2014 Diamond League winner, he's a 2012 World Championship. But it's one thing they'll always say. They'll just say you're an Olympic medalist. There's no year, there's nothing to it. It's the most powerful title. So if they want to take as long as they want and run at the trials only, I'm with it. Because after all is said and done, it's just them and themselves, no coach, no fans, no agent, just them.
Yeah, I agree with Warren, man.
And Hanson don't like that though.
Yeah, I know. But Anson, you know what it is? I know that we're trying to grow, like, obviously, you know, there's so much talk about growing the sport and the profile of the athletes and all of this stuff. Like, that's fine. But the reality is, if you're going to be in a position whereby you're racing week in, week out, and you're mashing yourself up, you're not going to get to the games. There's going to be no profile to grow because you're not going to be there. So I think it's really important that you commit to your season. That's the main thing. So if you have said you're going to go out and run diamond leagues, you're going to use that as part of your training and your prep for majors, then by all means commit to that. Do you know what I mean? Hold that and own that. But I mean, like, you can't force people to travel across the world, you know, jump on planes. It's not fun.
I think under the current setup, it makes sense. Okay, you want to peak at the right time because of shoe contracts and, you know, legacy and all that stuff. You want to be ready for the big meet. As far as the growth of the sport, though, it's impossible for the sport to grow under those circumstances. If there is no sport, there's not going to be no shoe contracts and big money in the sport anyways. So whatever needs to happen in order for these athletes to be competing more has to happen. Now, I saw an interview the other day with Bobby Kersey, basically saying that Sydney hasn't been going overseas because it's difficult to go overseas and it's hard on the body. They have a big trials to prepare for, which they do. The US is a tough team to make. Where no one really pressed him was in the past few years, even locally, Sydney didn't compete. I think Sydney's competing a lot this year because a lot of people were asking, well, where is this girl? Like, and I'm not saying it's all on her, but I think that a lot of it comes into protecting some of the athletes, and some of the bigger stars have to be on camera. They have to be competing in order for the sport to grow. The sport won't grow if that doesn't happen. It's funny. I was starting to lean more towards Sydney's side until I saw that interview, funny enough, because the interview probably would have put a lot of people in the position to be like, well, you know, it makes sense. She doesn't want to go to Europe. In general, I think that they should stick to the argument of, look, this is Sydney McLaughlin. Like when she comes out, she comes out. So just having her run all over the place really kind of, it's like treating her like a regular athlete when she's not. We don't have to do that because when Sydney comes out, you're going to remember the performance. That's the lane that she's in. She doesn't have to do what other athletes have to do, because in reality, we need to see people clashing at least once or twice before the championships. The names.
Why though, Anson?
Because it's boring. We're bored. And we're trying to entice new fans. It's hard to sell, okay, well, Sydney's running at Morehouse College. The sport can't grow under those circumstances. That's all I'm saying.
Structurally, all right, the competition format, the global competition format doesn't lend itself very well to those head-to-head clashes across a number of events, okay? That's the reality. People are going to be, you know, in different places ahead of a championships, right? There is something really beautiful, in my opinion, of when two of the fastest people in the world or two of the fittest people in the world come together just once a year, and it's the ultimate test to see who can do it on the day, the most important day. It's like boxers. You've got two heavyweight boxers of the world, okay? They're dancing around, they're fighting these journeymen, and eventually when they come together, it is the biggest event. It's the biggest spectacle. All eyes are going to be on it because we've not seen it before. There is that. That's that titillation. It's the kind of the thrill of being like, okay, damn, it's about to go down.
We always say we want to see these athletes race, but at the end of the day, if Fem was to come to the States and Sydney was there, was the money good? Was the money put forward? Does it make sense? Like, I flew all the way from Jamaica to go to Shanghai and back just for that one meet because the money made sense. Some athletes would have gone because they needed that race. But because of my status, the race made sense and the money made sense. So a lot of times people want to see these athletes make run, but behind the back door, are they putting the money for these athletes to run? I remember once I tried to sneak a race onto me, Hanson. Monaco, me and Lemaitre, that was 2 months before that was the headlines. Me and Lemaitre in Monaco. Cool, I'm excited, big money. As time goes by and it's getting closer, here comes Wally Spearman, then comes Nickel Ashmead, then comes Gatlin. Come on, that's more money, bro. Come on, it's not like you put regular athletes in the race. You put Gatlin, Wallace, and Ashmead, and at that time, those are heavy hitters.
That's a World Championship final, man.
Exactly. I'm not going to lose just because the fans want to see a clash up. I'm not going to put myself in a position to get one notch down just because the fans want to see that. No. Yeah, I want a slingshot.
Okay.
So my thing, if we want to make the sport better, Why would we put a new championship in it and spread the money? Why don't just take that money and put it where we already have something that's good?
You know, that's a brilliant point.
Make more sense, right? What's it called? Ultimate?
Yeah, the ultimate world, ultimate championships, and the prize money's cool. But even when I saw it, I was like, the money needs to be bigger. It does. It does. And you could do that if you took that money and put it towards the world championships.
Exactly.
Then you're talking some serious money, dog. Because the world championships is going to have its mystique already. So it's what it is. But if you want to add some stupid numbers for people to win, that's when people are going to be like, okay, I need to see what's going on the entire year.
So, all right. I'm going to ask both you guys a question. What era of track and field do you remember where athletes were running, matching up every single meet? Golden League, right?
Yeah. I think
So-
like pre 2007.
But you guys don't want that.
Don't say we
You
guys.
guys say you
them
don't want
guys.
that. You guys say you don't want the clashing all the time. People are lining up in the Golden League, dog. They're lining up.
Yeah, because it's a money, bro. You're trying to win $1 million US, bro.
Okay, the $1 million. There was the incentive, is what you're saying.
People was watching those races. Viewership was up, and even the random person like, "Yo, what's this race about?" I was like, "Oh, they're trying to win gold bars. They're trying to win $1 million US." So as much as you say, "Oh, people don't want to clash," give them the money, and you'll see. Give them the money.
Okay, but you.
But to tell,
It is chicken
but to tell
before
two
the egg,
persons-
though, because if you are clashing, then people are going to put some money up, right? Even when having a discussion with somebody, right? And say you get an altercation and it gets heated because the person is not understanding what you're saying. Instead of losing it, you can always control yourself. You can control what you do. You can't control them. You can control what you do. Now, the athletes, whether they like it or not, have more control than they think. As far as lining up with the best competition whenever they can control that. And if they're doing that, then there's no other argument that can oppose what they're trying to do. That World Athletics can't come back and be like, well, it's your guys' fault. If you're doing everything you could do, not only will you raise the stock of the sport naturally, the World Athletics isn't going to have that to hold against you. That's all I'm saying. The athletes got to see some sort of control and not just wait, because the waiting isn't doing anything. Warren, what's up with the Jamaican Sprinters, man? What's going on? What's the status, man? Do we need to be concerned right now as far as what's going on?
No, I think we're in a way better place than the Maple Leaf.
Why? See, that's the disrespect I'm talking about. Now I'm going to control myself.
I'm not disrespect. I'm not saying
allow that to blow.
I'm not saying we're in a way better place than the
Allow
Maple Leaf. Whatever. Here. First and foremost, the Jamaicans are in very good spirit. Us Jamaicans don't like to show our hands too early. Like we're like poker players. We're mind gamers. We will, domino game, right? We are going to hold our hand until the very last moment. And we are very good for that. And a lot of people on the internet try to read it otherwise. But if you follow how Jamaican come up and just perform in the Olympic Games, you realize it is a continuous trend. Before the Olympics, unless you're in our space, you'll have not known me. So I think Shelly is a well-established veteran. She's been there, done that. And Shelly doesn't need to race to show anything. If you want to know where she's at, she can set up her timers at the stadium or at her track and just run. Now is her time just to come out and just give us one bang. In terms of the other athletes, we're coming on good. We made the finals last year in the 4x1 male, got a medal, and we're looking better. We had some surprises in the 100 last year that you guys never saw coming. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're ever evolving, unlike the Maple Leaf.
You're being very disrespectful when in reality, there's
Maple Leaf.
Shelly and Elaine and Sharika, they're holding on to that 6 for a long time, Bridget. You can't hold it for that long, yo.
What you talk? But when we drop that 6, we're kicking over the board and just leave Paris, no?
All right.
Couple croissant and things.
I'm just saying it's dangerous. Jeanette, do you kind of see what I'm saying, though? Where do you think is the deadline?
I think after your trials. I'm not gonna lie. Like after your trials, that's when I always look at trials and think, okay, trials is when I know who's going to be firing for the games, because people get ready for trials. That's the reality. You got to make the team. Warren makes a brilliant point about Shelly. Shelly ain't got a race anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Shelley knows how to get ready. Shelley knows how to get ready for a championship. Shelley knows how to win championships if she needs to. Of course, there's competition and there's always going to be fierce competition, but she knows what she needs to be able to do. The people that need to race into fitness and get that experience, they're the newer kids on the block. That's the reality. You might need to race yourself fit. Shelley don't need to do that.
Also, when you're from, there's very few countries that at least have to hold their hand because the deck is so deep.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica is a part of it, and America. Mainly those two countries where you don't want to show your hands too much. And we don't care about the other countries as yet because we're going to make our team first. Some athletes, myself, I always trick athletes to thinking I'm playing checkers and I'm just playing chess. A lot of athletes say they don't watch films, they don't watch that. But if you study your opponents and your competition and study the schedule and study every single track and field, you can play a mind game on your competitors to the full. Yeah. Shelley is at an age and a time where she doesn't have to show her hand. We don't know Shelley's goal. We don't know if Shelley is just going to say, okay, no, I'm going for next medal. I'm going to win. We don't know that because unlike other athletes, they don't say, okay, I'm going for the goal. I'm going for the world record. She just say, yo, listen, man, I'm showing up.
Okay. All right, man.
I tell you, Anson, you have to come to Jamaica Trials one day to see the atmosphere.
I want to.
Jamaica Stadium is one of the hardest stadiums to go to a trials in. The one-day meets are good enough, but it's the trials, oh my Lord. That's a battlefield.
We always knew we'd watch the USA trials and we'd watch the Jamaican trials in Europe, and we'd be like, okay, this is a lot because your system of first past the post, there's no kind of discretion for the selectors to be like, okay, they can go or they can't. Like, you have to make the team. So
that's changed.
Oh, is it changed?
So that's
now?
changed. Jamaica changed it. It's like you guys know.
Oh, okay. Well, back in the day when it was like that, it's just too much.
No, I love that. I love that. Yo, Anson know me, man. I love competition.
Yeah.
My thing is the day. If you didn't make top 6, top 3 on the day,
you're not going.
See you in 4 years. See you next year. The day. I think the UK trials are soft. When I say soft, Jamaica trials is now soft and the UK trials are soft. When I say soft, I mean if it's top 3 is guaranteed and the next 3 is selected by the panel, that's soft. That's politics. I don't care what nobody says.
I hear you.
If top 6 isn't automatically selected, soft. That means that if you have a run-in with somebody on the committee, they cannot pick you just because, like, no. I just want to say one thing. Anson, asking you. As a country as big as that country, why is the talent pool so low? All right, that's it for the week.
You're being very disrespectful. You're being very disrespectful.
No.
You're talking about Canada. You're being very, very disrespectful. You realize that the 3/4 of the country is covered in snow, right? Put us in the weather with all the with all the fruit fresh off the tree and all that.
True.
And all. If we had that environment, Reggie, you come up to fire and run an icebox
and give us the resources, the technology.
Come up to fire and run an icebox. Let's switch
do.
places. Come up to fire and run an icebox. We'll see what happens to you, dog. Let's see. I want to see. It's a different call.
We talking sprint culture. We talking sprint culture.
My best part of my season is training in the UK, and the weather's not so good. So.
Okay, but it's not an icebox.